Hey beauties, welcome back to the channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. um Today is another story time. We're actually gonna talk about my coming out story. When did I come out? It was around, well, okay. This is a pivotal moment because I have an official coming out, and then I had a still closeted coming out. So let's go straight to college because I was in college. I think I was 18 years old. I'm now 26. I'll be 27 actually in January. Um, and during this time, a lot of things transpired, and I started to tap into me. Because I never really truly focused on just me. I've always focused on, like I said in the last video or the other video that I have, I've always focused on work, school, just chilling out, having fun, but not necessarily worried about being in a relationship or dating anyone. Like I wasn't interested. I really wasn't. And it sounds so crazy and people do not understand, but I'm sure there are more people that's like me in the world. And if you are, be sure to comment below so people can understand that we are on the same wavelength and we on the same page, because people just still don't get that. But that's cool. I'm not worried about people. Um so during the time that I was in college, I did do some experimentations, is what I call it, or called it, I should say. But it wasn't an experimentation. I was just kind of going with the flow and letting things be what they were. I was interested in guys. I've always tried to suppress it because of my background. Um, I was always raised to be straight. That's what I was taught. I was, in a Baptist church and stuff like that. And it's different because things are more strict, as some people say, or whatever like that. And so I battled that. I battled that because I did not want to be gay. I didn't want to be gay. And I tried everything in my power to suppress that, tried to get rid of it, tried to ignore it, tried to think that, it was a phase. And because I was battling the biblical texts and that sort of thing, that's from what I was taught. And it was also contradicting. Like I was contradicting myself, because on one hand, like if I, not if I was lying to myself and lying to everybody else because I was trying to be the people they wanted me to be. And see, people I don't think quite understand that. Um, when you are gay, it's not a feeling that I can control. If we can control it and turn it off like a switch, like a light, don't you think all of us would be straight? Because who wants this? And let me not say that like that. No one wants to be bullied. No one wants to be talked about, ridiculed, and all these other things that come with it. But honestly, right now, I could care less what anybody has to say. And it does build your self-esteem, your confidence, and all of that. But all of that takes time. All of that takes patience. Because at one point, I was suicidal, like a lot of us are. And I did not want to continue to feel suicidal. So I started to entertain me and embracing who I am. Okay? So during that, I had some fun in college, as people do in college, because you think you're grown and you you having fun, you know. But I noticed that that was something that was actually a stronger connection. It was the most authentic, and it just clicked. It just made sense. But I was like, maybe I'm bisexual because I love women, but I never really truly had the mindset of wanting to have intercourse with a woman. Never had that interest. You know, I've always thought that they were beautiful. I still think that they are beautiful. It's just not my cup of tea, and I've realized that. But I've also tried to make myself like it and enjoy it and want it, but never came to that point because it just wasn't right. And I'm not gonna take anybody through some stuff because I'm trying to figure out who I am. I don't think that's right either. But anyway, um, when you just don't have a desire, you just don't have a desire. It's not like I just woke up one day and was like, you know what, I'm gonna be gay. That's not reality. Like everybody that are, people that are straight or bisexual or whatever your preference is or who you feel like you are, you know, you just don't wake up in the middle of the night and just like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. Like that's not reality. You are who you are. This is how we were created, and you have to embrace that, love it, and be the best that as you can be. So jump into college. Like I said, I had my fun, had my encounters. Grew different connections. And at that point, I felt like I was bisexual. So I was going around telling everybody. I was like having conversations with people, bringing them to the side. Like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I am bisexual and X, Y, and Z. I don't know why I feel like I needed to go around to announce it and tell people that. It's not important. People don't care like that, But we put these different expectations on people and expect for them to feel what we are feeling to validate ourselves. But realistically, you can find your own self-love and all of that. But still, that takes time. So maybe you got to take those steps in order to progress. Anyway, I was going around to everybody, and I was comfortable telling people that too. Ooh, yeah, I'm this. Da, 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 da. So I would have other people that they were like still, and I remember this verbatim, and I was so mean, but I was mean because it was still drawing me into the truth, and I didn't want to accept it. And I never forget, I overheard a conversation, and they probably all remember this. Overheard the conversation, and there was something on the lines of saying that the guy was gonna get me, and that I was gay or whatever like that. And I instantly snapped. I turned right back around because I had just walked down the hallway. So I was like kind of around the corner, but you could still hear everything that's happening in the main area. So when you walk in, there's a space, a desk, and then you go to the opposite side. I was in a co-ed dorm, so you go to the opposite sides. I was on the women's side because I always would hang out around a whole bunch of women. I've always hung around a whole bunch of women. I just feel like I'm more comfortable around them. That's how I've always been. And even to this day, like I have my hub, my main people. However, I still am more comfortable hanging around women. And I don't know what that's about. And it wasn't because, my mom raised me and that sort of thing. My dad was present too, However, even just with that whole pivotal moment, like we really was connecting the time that I needed to connect, which was like early teens. So early teens, my dad was around, and those feelings were still there. And he was being himself, you know what I mean, teaching me and stuff like that. But you just know what you know, you try to get around it, but The reality is that's what you like. That's what it is. Okay, so go back to the story. And I overheard the conversation. And I turned around, I was like, you won't ever get this, like whatever. I don't remember verbatim what I said, but I know I blacked out and I snapped out. And typically that's not even me. That's not even my character. Typically I'm laid back, cool, don't say anything to anybody. And it's what it is, But it got under my skin because it was truth. Now the thing about it, I didn't want him. He wasn't my type. And I was kind of talking to two other guys at the time, and he probably knew that I was talking to him, especially because I used to be at the all boys dorm or whatever like that quite often in the gay boys room. You know what I mean? So it was like, sir, you coming out of here wee hours in the morning. Come on. It was obvious, but I just tried to suppress it and be like, oh no, people don't understand. This is just my friend. Whatever. So fast forward, I ended up leaving the school. Once I left the school to pursue my career now, which is cosmetology, and I started to, pursue my education there. But that was back home. At the time, I was living in Ohio. And then I moved back home to Illinois. So back home in Illinois, life just continued to go. Was hanging around my best friend and stuff. And he's been my ace-boon coon. But I consider to be my brother. Not my best friend, but both combined. Best friend, brother. And, but he's always been brotherly, straight. And I even had conversations with him over the phone, like, hey, he like, hey, if that's who you are, that's who you are. He's always embraced me, always gave me genuine love, and helped me continue to be comfortable. Same thing with my bestie. She's a girl. I got two besties, a man and a female, and they both keep me grounded, But anyway, came back home, and me, my bro, and his girlfriend at the time, we would all hang out. All the time we hung out. Oh, we did some everything together. Well, at this point, I think I knew her maybe like 4 years, and didn't know she had an older brother. And I don't want to really go into this too much because this is going to be a whole nother conversation with my now fiance. It's crazy. But we all started hanging out, like I said. And her brother had went off to college, and he had finished and was staying with a boyfriend and stuff like that. And ended up moving back home and then left and then came back. So then this last particular time, I think we were like on FaceTime or something like that. And he was calling like often at that time, like FaceTime all the time. Or at the time it wasn't even FaceTime. I think it was Skype. He was Skyping all the time, at least for what I can remember, because it was on the laptop. And I was hanging out all the time over the girlfriend's house, my brother's girlfriend's house. And so at this time, it's like, oh, we all like family. Like, I've been at that point, known them for at least a couple of years or so. Or, what was it, buddy? It was some time. I don't remember exactly how long I was hanging out over there. But I knew her for a long time before then. Like, at least 3 to 4 years. Anyway, I was over there, and I'll just jump to this point. Ended up getting into a relationship with her older brother. And I'm not going to say all of that, but because our relationship was progressing so nice and so lovely, and I just felt like this was my man, and everybody needed to know. Everybody needs to know. And I shouldn't care what anybody has to say about anything because I'm going to be happy regardless. So I was like, well, I got to come out. I got to have a conversation with my mom because the whole thing of it is, how can I say this? Everybody didn't need to have a conversation with me about my life in that aspect because nobody has come to me ever in life to say, you know what, Taee, I'm straight. You're straight. Congratulations. We're not going to have that dialogue. So I don't feel like why it was a necessity or people felt like they needed to know that I was gay. Because they never had a conversation with me and we never talked about that. It was an issue. It was a problem. And that actually was a wedge between me and a lot of people, especially people that I was close to. And it hurt me because it's like I'm going through something. It's not about none of y'all. It's about me. You know? But before people knew, I had a conversation with my mom. And my mom, her everything was not nearly what I was expecting because her and I were tight at that time. Like we still tight now, but we had to rebuild that because it was just different, you know. But I had a conversation with her because I feel like I needed to talk to her about it, and I didn't know why, but I just felt like I needed to have a conversation with her than anybody else, especially because I wanted him to be around more often. And I was going over his house all the time. We was chilling, and his mama knew. Everybody knew, over there. But my mom didn't know anything. But I still was trying to figure out if that was the reality or if I was living a life the way, if it was a phase, as people say. But it wasn't. It was the reality. Like, I was actually in love. And I actually wanted to be with him, and I seen a future with him, and I still see a future with him. And this is almost 7 years later. But so I had the conversation, and oh my goodness, talking about crying and emotions and everything. And initially, she was just like, "Is it my fault? Was it something that I did?" And it was a lot of resistance in the beginning. Oh, but when I say that was the most horrible feeling to ever feel, and of course I was already feeling suicidal and stuff like that, and to come completely out of that, and me, my mom, and all of us have a good relationship now, but I feel like if you are authentically who you are, be you. You have to. It's the most difficult thing, or it could be the most easy thing, because some people's experience was totally different than mine. They didn't have to deal with what I had to go through, but I had to go through it for a reason and to strengthen who I am. I'm not gonna say was, but who I am, because if I didn't go through those experiences, I would not be the person I am today and talking to y'all about it. So it's a reason and a purpose for it. But man, that pretty much was my coming out story, to sum it up in a nutshell. And I just feel like for those who don't understand, because it's not for the people that's going through it, but the other people on the outside that don't understand, take yourself out of the equation. And what I mean by that is, don't force your thoughts and your feelings onto that person, because that's not fair. Because you don't understand what they're going through. And 9 times out of 10, they are feeling very suicidal. So any little thing that you say to them, it's like a ticking time bomb, and they just might give up. And we don't want anybody to give up. It's very difficult for us. I think for the people that don't understand, grow some more understanding and try to figure out how to love on that person. Because, man, put yourself in those shoes. You know, what if majority of the world was gay and less of the world was straight? And how you are trying to fit in this box, or not, well, fit in the box. You're trying to fit in the box with everybody else, but you're different. You know, I've always been different. I've always been different. And I've been different since forever. And everybody knows it. And people know it. They've had conversations about it and stuff like that. I was just oblivious and late to the party. I was super late to the party. I didn't wake up till 19 years later, just about, before I really realized, oh, this is who I am. And I've been my authentic self for 7-8 years. That's not necessarily a long time. But man, when I say so much has happened and I've gained so much strength since then, it's like, hey, people can say anything and everything to me and it won't faze me. It won't faze me. Not nearly the same. So the best thing I say is love yourself. Love everybody else. Be truthful. And listen to what people have to say. Sometimes it's not about you. And see, for a lot of people, like I said before, they were trying to make it to be about them. Why didn't you tell me? How come you didn't tell me? Because it's not about you. And that person is going through that. And it's not a necessity to have a conversation with you about something like that, because you never had the conversation with them about you being straight. So take that nugget and take heed and just ride the tide. You know what I mean? And just love on them. Meet them where they are. You know, maybe have a conversation with them later, but embrace them. You know, ultimately, all we do, we really are lovers. We are loving people, you know, and that's all we want is love. So if you would just love on us, we're good. We'll always be good. But yeah, like I said, love yourself, love everybody else, be truthful. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you want. Save this video if you want. Send it to your friend that you may think that they are who they are, whatever like that. Maybe this will help them out. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those also in the description box. Not the description, y'all, in the comments. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.